Oh, it stinks. Oh, it stinks so bad. The humble onion. The only vegetable, I think, that can make you cry. Well, without manual user error. Come to think of it, I don't think there's a vegetable that actually makes you laugh, is there? Anyhow, today I'm attempting to make desserts using onions. That's right, cookies, cake, ice cream, sorbets, maybe even a cheeky little snack. We're gonna give it a go to find out if this crazy idea I've had for a couple of years. None of you asked me to do this. It's just a random idea I had when I was walking Boston. But let's find out if this is the best or worst idea I've ever had. Our first one as Boston sits in the sun. You okay, mate? You actually sat in the shade, to be honest, mate. This is going to be a bit of a snack. You've heard of candied bacon, right? I really like, I mean, who doesn't like bacon? As a nice gentle start, let's try making candied onions. It may not surprise you that our first ingredient is an... And I think for these onions, I'm not gonna caramelize them because I know, I mean, you're gonna caramelize them and then encase them effectively in sugar. That is gonna be very delicious indeed. So I've got a fairly smallish pan there, but this should be enough here. We've got 100 grams of sugar. I mean, I've made candied bacon like twice in my life. They were good times in my life, don't get me wrong. As I add in some water, yeah, you basically get a puddle of water and sugar, and we need to warm this up. Look at it go, that is already potentially quite dangerous, but we need to get it slightly amber. You've got like a little window of opportunity. Baking parchment down here. It is very therapeutic, this site. Look at this. I think if it wasn't for the smell of the raw onion, I'd be in heaven right now. So we're looking for a bit of a colour change in this. All right then folks, that is looking very different entirely. Just to buy me some time to show you this scene of taking it off the heat, but if you're doing this in person right now, you need to be dunking those onions. But look at this. Oh my gosh, that actually smells quite nice. That, you can probably see from the consistency of just pushing it around, it's sort of going as one now. I'm gonna trust that. Oh yes. Just spread it out slightly. Okay, here we go. Let's just pull a bit off here. I'm gonna pull off the whole mat. Ooh. Oh nice, it's gonna have the caramelization, but not too hard. Oh, still crunch. Like it kind of tastes like a raw onion and a caramelized onion, and that's even before the sugar, the actual onion itself. I'm actually pleasantly impressed by that. Yeah, that's actually got potential. Next up, we're gonna do some chocolate chip cookies, or should that be... All right, so before things get a little bit weird, I mean, not that they haven't already, but that was pretty good. We've got some butter there, and this is a mixture of white and brown sugar. Got some bicarbonate soda here. Plain flour. And I wasn't sure whether to do this, but for this run, it's not really about like the sugar and things, because obviously we creamed it anyway. So I'm gonna add some vanilla anyway. This is just to see if the onions can replace the chocolate chips. So any minute now we'll have what looks like a standard-ish cookie dough. Well, for now. Yep, so as I preheat my oven, right down here, we have got the classic bag of chocolate chips, but oh no, it's not gonna be alone. We've got half a red onion and half a white onion. Let's dice it so it's kind of chocolate chip style-y. We will do some with the chocolate chips. I mean, there's two reasons for that. One, I don't want to do the effort of making cookies without actually having some chocolate in there. And I also want to see how it works with the chocolate in there together, how chocolate and onion combines. We know that we want all of the onion in with the cookie dough. So if I just give that a, oh my word. It feels like I'm making meatballs. Maybe I'll do 3. So we've got a pure onion chip cookie. Now I've got to try and turn the camera off just for a minute. With like onion cookie fingers. Okay, a quick wash of the hands later, and I'm gonna put in about 50 grams of the chocolate chips actually. This is gonna be really interesting. There's a really interesting scent right now of a sort of a mild cookie dough scent, mainly from the sugars, and onion. Lots and lots of onion. So in you go, my pretties. I have no idea what's gonna happen. We'll bake them like standard cookies, 10 to 12 minutes, hopefully nice and golden brown, the chocolate all nice and oozed, and those onions, well, hopefully not crying. Here we go, look. So, remembering our reverse L, these are the onion only ones. Genuinely right now, it smells like French onion soup. It's time to summon the cookie fairy. Doodle-loo-loo. All right.
Hello.
Onion cookies.
Nice.
Maybe dark brown sugar, so hopefully nice, intense taste. I have got some with just onion in it. 2 types of onion, red and white, and these chocolate chips. Just for the sweetness, should we do chocolate chips first? All right, choose your weapon. That is a really nice soft cookie. I'm not tasting onion at all. The chocolate, this dark chocolate, is quite rich, isn't it? Mm. It's almost like the onion has just gone along for the ride. Oh, look. You all right?
You've got quite a strong aftertaste.
Maybe I'm just used to eating onion.
Oh.
You missed out on the candied onion. No?
Oh, I've got a really horrible onion.
Well, I did get it then, actually. Yeah, literally just tasted onion, yeah.
Onion mixed with dark chocolate does not go well.
Yeah, that was one of my other ideas.
I was enjoying that.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Well, you can always get back to that one. So these, can you feel the difference?
Oh, yeah,
they're like firmer, right?
They are.
Still pillowy. I don't hate that because it's absolutely surrounded by sugar. But it's the aftertaste.
It's like eating a bowl of caramelized onions.
I think for me, yeah. I mean, it's a cookie. The sweetness is strong. You've got a lovely crust on it, but the onions are kind of just sat there. They're not strong or bitter though. It's like, no? Okay.
I don't think it's going to catch on.
No?
No.
Well, thank you, Cookie Fairy, for that input.
You're welcome.
But of course, it's not the first vegetable to be put in a cake, is it? Who doesn't love a carrot cake with that oil-based sort of softened, moist batter? I think they're great. And in fact, it's the grater not only is going to grate the carrots, it's going to grate our onions. And yes, we will do an onion-based frosting too, but let's just batter up first. Batter up! All right, let's try and have a touch of normality before adding in the onions. But I do love a carrot cake. We're going for white and brown sugar again, although this time I'm going to make the white sugar more the dominant one. 2 eggs, vanilla extract, and some vegetable oil. And the first time I made one of these cakes, I'm like, what? But it really does make a super moist sponge. All right, so that's the wet ingredients. Well, wet other than the the vegetables. Cinnamon, baking powder, and bicarbonate of soda, plain flour again. And everything right now is all good. Great. We have got a sandcastle of carrot there, but I don't want to reveal it just yet. Because if we do this right, I'm surprised I'm not crying at all. But it's letting out a lot of moisture, so I've probably got about 2/3 of that onion. Let's not forget about the red one. So hopefully we'll have a strange medley of, are we going to get orange, then the white, then the... Okay. It's all there. Oh, crikey, that is strong. There's actually quite a lot of the juice from the onion that went in then as well, almost like an onion extract. But what I am actually hoping is that this batter does absorb that. So because that is very fumey, it's an emotional cake. It's in tears. But that to me, you know, if you can kind of avoid looking at the onion bits, which for me is actually easier with my semi-watery eyes right now, it looks quite carrot cakey, doesn't it? The other rest could be like coconut or potato or something. Oven is preheating, and if you are wondering why that baking tin is heavily slathered in butter, well, any extra flavour I can get in this. Oh, the onion carrot cake tastes like butter. I am all for that. Why does it remind me of like a vegetable soup? Alrighty. Around about 35 minutes, possibly 40. Whilst it's baking away, we'll make the frosting. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves with our onion frosting. However, I've just got myself some of those spare onions we had, so a white onion and a red onion, cut it into strips, shoved it into a frying pan with some oil and sugar onto the heat, starting to fry it up. Lovely jubbly. And there'll be caramelized onions for our frosting that we can make once the actual cake has cooled down. But I do think by caramelizing this up, it really is going to help that frosting maintain its sweetness. I mean, that is going to be sweet. This could be my favorite one. Well, I got to say, folks, I've trusted the process and baked it for a full 40 minutes without taking it out. Look how risen that is. And that, even the bamboo skewer is smoking. It does smell a little oniony, a little bit savory. But we put all the other ingredients I would in there and the cinnamon. I'm putting my hopes on this one really compared to the last ones. We'll let this fully cool. Frosting. So in the UK, we call this soft cheese, although we can get a brand called, well, it rhymes with Philadelphia. You know, the film with Tom Hanks in, I think. So soft cheese apparently has a fat content of 33%, whereas cream cheese and some of those spin-off versions of garlic and herb in have a fat content of up to 55%. So I'm not sure, because I go for the supermarket versions of these. They're a little bit, I mean, a lot cheaper. And it's actually really important to make sure you get full fat ones, otherwise it can really make cheesecakes and things like that fail. It's a massive difference, probably the fat content. But am I actually skimping with the fat by going for something with soft cheese rather than, well, Tom Hanks? If you guys want to talk about that in the comments, I'll be really interested to understand. I'm not fully sure, but that does actually sound quite legit. That's some melted butter, so I'm just mixing that. Anything to mask these onions before we put onions with this. And now we'll add in some vanilla extract. The price of that stuff, literally pouring away, probably about 50p there. And here is icing sugar. If it does stay a little lumpy, we can always whisk it. It's a whisk worth taking. Another favourite pun. Although that cake in tears thing, come on, quite proud of that one. That was a legitimate cake in tears. That can't happen too often, surely. I'm just going to get this ready, and onions will go with it. Look at it though, it just looks like an innocent cake. It's still just slightly warm, not too much, but this is more for me like slicing into it and getting a really decent section out of it so we can see what's going on in there. So we'll frost this in a moment, but now I want to jump to what I think is possibly going to be the worst one today. Yep, so with the help of these tubs and a ginger creamy, remember we did a dedicated video on it where we discovered you could make banana sorbet, or it's effectively ice cream with just mashed up frozen bananas. It's like insanely smooth. And in fact, it's this one right here. And it says, don't like bananas? You could make pineapple sorbet with pineapple chunks. Orange sorbet with orange chunks. Oh, I didn't see this 36 hours ago. Using any other fruits except banana, pineapple and orange for this recipe may damage the unit. Okay, let's rewind to over 36 hours ago after I just got home from football, quite late in the evening, where this onion sorbet medley began. Yeah, can I just say, I don't know if this is gonna work. I'll tell you what though, folks, as I'm slicing these onions, the water in them is giving me real sorbet vibes. I promise you, I'm not regretting this whatsoever. You know, who doesn't chop up onion and think, sorbet? Right, let's get all this out then and mix it with a banana. I'm not really looking for flavour with the banana, it's just kind of hopefully to bond it. So let's just, oh my gosh. The smell of onion to banana is actually really, really therapeutic. It's like, you know, I could have caramelized these onions up, but I want to go cheeky with this. I want it to be onion. You know, there's raw onions in a hamburger. Why can't there be one in a sorbet? Split up and mingle. Oh my gosh, that stinks. Oh no. Press it down now. Oh, there we go. There we go, folks. We are onion sorbeting at 11 p.m. at night. The freezer really needs to work hard. All on you, mate. Well, I really hope I don't damage this ginger machine, because Mrs. B's really enjoyed making gin and tonic sorbets out of it. It turns out anything really fluid, once you freeze it in these beakers, makes something very nice indeed. All right, here it is. I mean, it's had a long old time in there. That is frosted up good. I can see like bands of onions still in it. We've just got to go for this. Look. Oh, that stinks. This tub's looking over. Yeah, you got off lightly, mate. Okay. If this does get noisy, but if I'm worried, I'm going to hover around here so I can switch it off at the mains. Full sorbet. I can't see it. Told you it was loud. Oh, excuse me, wrong way. I told you it was loud. But anyone for some onion sorbet? Oh! Oh my gosh! Oh, it stinks. Oh, it stinks so bad. So I've got a little bowl here, but let's remember. Look, it's all powdery. It is all powdery. Oh my gosh. I made one of those like astronaut drinks. Oh my gosh. The banana, I think, has at least just held it together. But look, it's pulverized that onion. Oh, it's so bitter. Oh. It's melting in my mouth, so oh, wow. Yeah, oh, I don't know how much, oh. It is the most bitter, like, tastes like dirty. Oh, why am I going to try some more? I don't need to try anymore. It's got the texture of snow. The banana, hopefully, I think, did hold it and gave it some sort of structure, like these pieces. It is blooming freezing. But it's like that raw onion taste, but like a slight burn in your mouth and almost the senses of wanting to cry, but just like an angry, so angry and just disgusting. Possibly one of the worst things I've made ever. But hey, nobody died. All right, come on then, onion carrot cake. Let's just get you on there. This frosting alone, I really just want to eat a mouthful of it because that was so bitter. That was absolutely disgusting. I don't know why I had high hopes for it because there was like no sugar in it at all. It was just purely, you know, other than the ripeness of one banana, it was just purely raw onion. That was it. Oh, what a pretty cake. But it is a pretty cake that needs onions. Caramelized onions that we made before. Actually, I might save some of these to go with our ice cream. Yeah, I've got a few left. I'll leave those. But look at that. Onion carrot cake. You've got to be... You smell great. Honestly, I really like you. Please be good. Oh, the carrots are really dominant in it. I'm not sure if these sort of like green looking bits are onion, but let's try it. You go into a cafe, you see that on a counter. Oh, they made homemade cakes. Fantastic. I'll try the carrot cake, please. Actually, before you try this, this is onion sorbet. Have a go at that.
Am I just going to be eating a mouthful of frozen onions?
No, I was really surprised with what the banana did, to be honest.
Oh, it's all like crumble.
Yeah.
Oh.
Would you like some cake? It's awful, isn't it?
Oh my
It's
God.
horrendous.
I just had like the tiniest bit and it's just like I've bitten into a raw onion.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, mate.
That's the worst thing you've ever got me to try.
Well, would you like some cake?
No.
I got high hopes for this. You love a carrot cake.
I love carrot cake.
Yeah, but look, it does look like a carrot cake in some ways.
Oh.
What? Okay, yeah. The caramelized onions on top really ruined that. I can't taste it in the sponge.
I can.
Oh.
I love carrot cake. I'm really disappointed that that's not very nice.
It's a bit tangy. I would eat that though, if I had to, but without these onions on top. Try and aim for a bit of carrot. It is actually like there's like a flavour of onion running through it, yeah.
Doesn't get any better with a second taste.
I've still got one more to make.
No.
Oh, I'll do that one on my own.
What is it?
Ice cream. I wanted to finish with a little bit of onion retribution. However, 36 odd hours ago when I made the base mix and I put raw onions in, as you'll see, I was not aware, as we're finding out through this video, that generally the onion flavour is dominant and seeps into things. I was looking at it as a positive to make onion ice cream, and this is when I was making it. Now I'm doing this one to impart a little bit of flavour into our vanilla base mix. You're going to go on an adventure now. This is some full fat milk. I'm not going to add any sugar or any vanilla extract. Quite a bland base mix, but a fatty one with the full fat milk and the double cream, aka heavy cream. Get some serious fat particles in there. And in goes half a red onion. In the freezer for you, my friend. Oh, I better put a lid on first, whoops. Yes, so indeed, that has been in the freezer as long as our onion sorbet. However, it's going to stay there just a little bit longer because I want to do a balsamic onion sauce to drizzle on our ice cream. And of course, we've got to have it in a cone. Balsamic vinegar, some real tang. I love balsamic vinegar so much, especially when you combine it with sweetness. So I was going to go for maple syrup, but we've got a lot of honey in the house at the moment. We are literally like bees. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to add in some fresh onion. Now, I have chopped that, but it's just gone in as a clump. There we go. it's like a deck of cards then, because I want it to actually cook from scratch and sort of absorb and sort of go along with the honey and balsamic journey. So we're going to reduce this down for a real intense balsamic honey and onion. We've not had much onion today. Flavour. The hot tub of balsamic honey infusion. All right. I forgot. Oh, it looks really pretty ice cream style, but I have been finding that the red onions are kind of weeping. It's kind of like the story of this video, really. I'm weeping inside. Less than a white onion. We'll churn it. Please. The balsamic sauce smells amazing, to be fair. Okay. I don't know what to think anymore. Here we go. Let's get that off. It's sort of done that dusty topping again. Oh, I need to scoop this. I need to scoop it. Oh, look, it's kind of icy on the top, like quarter, and there's our ice cream down there. Right, I'll get that off. Yeah, let's just scrape that in there. And it is getting thicker as I'm going down. I have actually got one. Right, where's my cone? Oh no, it's all powdery. Oh, it's on the sides. That's the better stuff. It's falling apart. There is some in here. There is 100%. Come on. And my hands are getting so numb. Actually, I'm finding a way. If I like do it piece by piece, and if you went to an ice cream parlour and they did this, you'd be extremely freaked out. But I'm pressing it on by hand, almost like mashed potato, and that is working quite well. It looks more like a cauliflower, but it needs some sauce. Look at all this. Sauce down here, which has thickened up absolutely gorgeously. Look at that. All right, I've got to try this. Look, the sauce is running down it. I'm just gonna try the ice cream on its own. No. Please, balsamic vinegar and cone, help me out. That is blooming messy, and that balsamic vinegar sauce is really zingy. It's so powerful that it masks the entire taste of ice cream, so it's kind of like the sauce you could put on any ice cream and get away with it. But in the words of Stuart Ashton, that is indeed a very sad onion. Did that ice cream give us some initial redemption from this? Yes. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. It's awful. It's worse now it's thawed. Oh. But one thing I will say is these cookies, just the onion ones, now they've cooled down. Maybe I've just become invincible to onions. Where it's really firmed up and gone cold, it's almost got like apple vibes to it now, where the onion chunks have the same sort of texture and they're like a mildness. When they were still slightly warm, when Mrs. B and I tried them, they were nice. That freshly baked taste, but there's like a whole chunk of onions on this bit here. It bizarrely tastes of apple. But I think possibly, other than that and the candied bacon and the cake, I would eat it. I would. I mean, you look amazing. I mean, caramelized onions on top of a cake, it might not be a new thing, but we certainly know that sorbet and ice cream isn't. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's something I've personally wanted to do for a few years, and maybe this is why I haven't done it. But my aim, if this was a success, was to probably do other ingredients like potatoes and make something like a mini series out of it. However, I'll wait your feedback. Cheers for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you later. Try the cookies, if anything. I will type the recipes up if you want to have a go.
I don't think I've ever had a cake that looks nice and tastes horrendous.
Until today.